Hi, I'm John Hogan, lead gunsmith at J Hogan Son gun makers. We're a repair and service business based on the edge of the Cotswolds, and this is my son Will, who's been working with me for the past 3 years and running the sales and repair service business.
So in our range of guns available at J Hogan Son, anything second-hand has been personally strip cleaned and serviced by our in-house team, so we can sell with confidence. So we'd like to think here at J Hogan Son we have in-depth knowledge that most other shops cannot offer. With the wealth of knowledge and encyclopedia on the gun making side and the gun repairs, and along now with the sales side of the business, we'd like to think that we can offer the most in-depth knowledge and expertise on any aspect of firearm available to the UK shooter today. So in this video today I'm going to give you some post-shoot day gun cleaning tips, whether your gun got wet, as what a lot of guns are getting this season, or whether it's dry. We tend to treat them exactly the same. So we'll remove the gun from the slip and we'll always break the gun. Whether you're at home or in the field, it's always good to make sure that the gun is safe. The gun is clear, so we'll close it up and we'll remove the forend and the barrels, like so. Place your stock and forend down carefully, and then a lot of modern guns now have multi-chokes. We would always advise, if it is a multi-choke, to loosen the chokes and take them out each time that you clean the gun. We see a lot of guns come in that are now fixed choke that were multi-chokes, and that's due to lack of maintenance. So you simply remove the choke key and then take your choke out. There's a lot of variations of different chokes, but all in theory need to be treated the same. So we use the loyal blue rag and just clean the thread out on the choke, making sure get all the excess residue off the choke. As you can see, quite a lot of gunk in there. They're under a lot of pressure, an important part of the gun, so very important to make sure that they're kept clean. We then will clean the barrels. A lot of people, you don't have vices, that's not a problem. In theory the process is exactly the same. We'll put the barrels in the vise, and then we use a phosphorus bronze brush which we dip in our own bore wash, which is a traditional mixture, to remove any excess powder and dirt that has got down the barrels during shooting. Now, people will be concerned with the thread of the chokes. You need to clean the threads of the chokes out as well. The phosphorus bronze brush will do that for you. So we then scrub the barrels thoroughly, making sure that the choke ends you concentrate on to clean any dirt and grime that's got in the thread. Top and bottom barrel. So the next step, once the barrels have been thoroughly scrubbed and we've concentrated on cleaning the thread at the choke end, we then use a thing called a wire loop. We do not use mop wall brushes like a lot of people do. This is down to personal choice. We feel that once the mop becomes dirty, you end up putting more dirt back into the barrel than what you've actually done, and when you pull it back out, it scrapes all the dirt underneath your extractor legs, so they become very dirty. So we tend to use a wire loop with, again, blue rag or kitchen towel if you can't get hold of any blue rag. An absorbent material basically is what we suggest. So we'll thread that through into our loop, roll it up and then down through the bore and then back out. And as you can see, it's gathering all the residue dirt and liquid that's been left in from our bore wash. So we do top and bottom, straight the way back out, and as you can see, take that out and we'll throw that away. Check down through the bore, nice and gleamingly shine, and then we're ready to put our chokes back in. So again, once everything's been thoroughly clean, we can just wipe off any residue liquid that's on them. And the all important part will be, with the chokes we always use a regular white oil which we make ourselves. We always oil the thread so that when you do come to put it on and off, it's a lot easier. So once the choke has been fully greased and re-oiled, we'll put it back into the gun using your choke key, tightening it up, and when you get to the very final point, making sure that you tighten it up so it sits fully flush, depending on whether it's a flush choke or not, obviously. But tighten it up and then wipe off any residue oil that's come off the end. and give the barrels a bit of a wipe, like so. Again, using white oil, grease your extractor legs and round the lumps. All areas that are high wearing, and a little bit of white oil and grease helps to protect them. Next up is the forend. Now, whether you've been out in the rain or in the dry, we'd always suggest making sure that you dry any residue moisture that's down through the forend wood on the iron. So always dry the area as well as you can, concentrating on the ends, making sure that any moisture that is in there is taken away. And again, a little bit of oil on the ejector kickers. Again, another hard wearing area that needs looking after. Then we're on to the action of the gun. Without going into too much detail, use some cloth and dry any excess oil, powder or residue that's got into the action during your day shooting. Now, naturally, by doing this, you don't necessarily always get every bit. There's a lot that still manages to work its way into the action, but that would be covered at an end of season service. And then we're on to oiling the stock. So once the gun is we're nearly finished with cleaning the gun now, we then look to apply oil. Now, some guns don't have an oil finish, they have a lacquered finish, so you may want to just clean the stock with a bit of towel again and a light bit of oil. It wouldn't leave, but this is a traditional oil finish gun, so we'll use some of our own oil that we make ourselves and then apply a small film over the stock. There we go, right the way over, covering all over around the head and the neck of the gun, and then naturally on both sides. We don't tend to use a lot of oil on the stock when applying a light film. We layer it on like so. We leave it to dry for sort of 1 to 2 minutes, and then we buffer it off to get the shiny finish that we're after. And then you are putting the gun back together. So, closing that up, barrels in the air, reattaching the forend, and then open again. Now, what we always do is there could possibly be an element of excess oil left around on the action. So again, once again, grab some rag and wipe any excess oil off the gun, and that is then clean and ready to go back into the safe. Now, it's a common argument whether you store your gun barrels down or stock down. You'll see a lot of guns in gun shops with the stock down as a display. We'd always advise to store your gun barrels down in your cabinet. So this is simply because any excess oil that is left in the barrel will work its way out of it. It won't work its way into the action, and over time the oil can work all its way through and weaken the head of the gun, which is the thinnest part of the wood. So we want to try and avoid that if possible. This has been a short video with some basic tips of gun cleaning and maintenance during the shoot season from ourselves to you. This has by no means been a full strict clean service, but this is something that we will cover in a video later on in the shoot season with ourselves for Farlow's. Thank you very much for watching, and if there's anything that we can do to help you with your gun requirements, please do not hesitate to ask.